Y'all, so we have a lot to catch up on. Welcome to another vlog. You in the past, I'm in the future. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Keela Trishawn, and I make videos on lifestyle, insurance, and mental health. I also do vlogs, day in the life in the insurance industry, day in the life with a small child, all the things. So if that's something that interests you, go on ahead and click that subscribe button below. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from me. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you for your support. All right, so I got a lot of stuff to kind of talk to you guys about and just catch you up on. Mainly, this is going to be like, the typical insurance vlog. So I'll be kind of walking you guys through my day. It might go beyond today, to be honest, because again, I got a lot to talk about. But walking through the day, what's going on. Also, like some life things. I want to catch you guys up with, what's going on personally. Also, I had a deposition, so that's going to be added in here. I'm going to tell you guys kind of how I prepped for it and what the experience was like for those of you that have not had a chance to do one, or maybe you're preparing for one. And lastly, I wanted to talk about some books that I'm reading or have read. I have this urban romance fiction thing that I've had going on for, I don't know, maybe like a couple years now, like maybe like a year and a half, I'll say. And I've read a ton of books. I used to read a lot back in the day before I, became a busy mom and wife and all of that. And I just got back to it. I do a lot of audiobooks, but I also have my Kindle. So, I'll read some books, but they do have the assisted reader. So you can listen, while you're doing chores and stuff, which is how I usually like prefer to read books. And I do a lot of it while I'm working. So it really helps with, honestly, my stress levels, just getting into somebody else's story, and they be juicy. So if you're interested in all of that, definitely go on ahead and stay tuned. All right, you guys. So first things first, I am filming this video. Well, I film all my videos on my iPhone. I have an iPhone 14. And I don't always use all the features. So today I'm filming in the cinematic mode. So let me know if you like this style of filming, or if you prefer just like the regular. I just usually just use a regular like video, whatever. Let me know if you have a preference, or if you just don't care. So anyways, so I'm just logging into work. It is Monday morning. It's 7:50, so I've been logged on for about 30 minutes. If you are familiar with my videos, the first thing I do when I log in is I kind of just see what I have on my desktop for the day. So I did log in on Saturday for a little bit. There was a customer that I told I was going to get back to them on Friday, but I'm going to be honest with you. Friday, I just was not in the mood. Like Friday was like a lot of stuff going on. I had therapy, and my niece's birthday was coming up on Sunday. My brother, the one that passed away, his birthday was last weekend. So it's just been a lot happening. Last week was a short week too, because it was Memorial Day on Monday. So, we only had 4 days. And if you work really in any industry, usually you have enough work to fill up that week. So when you have a day off, although it's nice, sometimes it can be kind of intense, because you're trying to fit all of that work into a 4-day period. So this is the first full week back. Next week, I have a short week because my son, his birthday's next week, and also he graduates from kindergarten. So I have a few days off, my husband and I. So it's just going to be 2 days. So basically, I'm trying to use this 5-day week very wisely, because I'm only working 2 days next week, and then I'll be playing catch up the week after. So, that's a little overview, but still working the wildfire claims. We're at a point where we're getting a lot of the testing back. So I think the last time I did a vlog, which was probably my last video like a month ago, we were still waiting on testing, and, customers were getting antsy. So since then, we have received a lot of the testing back, thank God, but we are having to send those testing reports to environmental vendors so they can prepare abatement estimates for cleaning of the structure and the contents. So a lot of the homes have been found to have like a heavy lead presence. So that's something that we're kind of paying attention to. I mean, a lot of it really was like the wind, even if a home didn't have actual lead, like the homes that were a total loss, the wind was blowing, super fast. So it was blowing that dust all around. So some places have been found to have higher than normal lead levels. And with that, there has to be a special type of cleaning for the structure and also for the contents. Some contents are going to be disposed of depending on what the testing vendor recommends. Some items will be salvageable with a special cleaning. Like it's all kind of stuff. So we basically wait for those the testing reports with the protocols, and we send that to the environmental vendors so they can prepare an estimate based on their cost. Now, what I'm finding is that some of the vendors, and it's a learning experience, honestly, for all of us. Sorry, just turning on my work phone. So what they're doing is they're going out and doing an initial inspection, and they're able to prepare the structure cleaning estimate like right away. But for the contents, that takes more time. So they have to actually go through all of the contents. If you know anything about like contents handling, I haven't done it personally, but obviously I've been doing this for a long time, so I know just kind of what the vendor has to do. They usually have to schedule a day with a few workers to go through all of the customer's personal belongings to determine what can be cleaned and what needs to be disposed of. The items that they know need to be disposed of are put on like a total loss report, and that total loss report is sent to the insurance company. We then send that to we send that to a pricing vendor who prepares like what market value is for those items, and then we pay the customer off of that, and we pay them a separate estimate for cleaning. So it's a lot of like moving pieces, and some of the customers are even getting upset with that. I have one customer who he doesn't want the second testing round from the vendor. He feels like it all should have been done, the first time around. This particular vendor, they'll test for lead levels, but then if they see something elevated, they will ask to do like more in-depth testing. It is pretty annoying, but it's kind of one of those things. This is their process. So I don't know what the guy wants me to do, so I need to address that today. Also, we have had a time getting things approved. It has been taking like weeks to get items approved. So it's like not only are we getting it from the customers, just kind of asking what the holdup is, but our management is taking a while to approve things. So, customers are calling in, they're pissed off, and we actually were told, to, I guess, like watch what we say to the customers, because some people are referring them to management. Now, the way I think about that is, so I kind of have a way that I discuss it. Like I'm very transparent with my customers. I don't lie and, make up these stories about how, oh, we're waiting for this, we're waiting for that, we're trying to ensure accuracy. Like, because I do my part to ensure the accuracy, but I still have an authority, which most adjusters do. And then anything over that authority has to be sent for review. Now, I can't control how long it takes my supervisor or, her management. I can't control how long it takes them to review something or approve. But normally it's like no more than a week. It's been like 2-3 weeks for some of these things. So the customers are getting antsy. And me personally, I just don't think I need to take the fall for that. So I don't like give out names. Like I'm not that person. I don't, oh yeah, she's taking forever. I don't say that because I don't know what's going on. I assume that it's a lot of moving pieces because a lot of us have things coming in. I'm busy as an adjuster working my desk. So I have empathy for my supervisors and managers. I know that they're working a lot and they have a lot of things going on. So it's not like just my payment, and everybody's been waiting. But by that same token, when a customer is like on me, like, oh, what's going on, what's going on with that? It's like the only thing I can really do is follow up. That's the only thing I can do. Like I can't, I'm not going to take the fall for something that I'm not doing. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing that. I understand teamwork and all of that. And my teamwork is not throwing you directly under the bus. Like I always say that it is busy because it is, there are a lot of adjusters and there's only like so many supervisors, so many managers. So I get that. And I make sure that I say that, but I'm not taking the fall because y'all taking 3 and 4 weeks to review some stuff. I'm not doing that. We get talked crazy to enough. And when I say that, I'm exaggerating. I don't get talked to as crazy these days as I probably used to in the beginning. I don't know if it's my demeanor or if people are just more reasonable. I don't know. But, you do have those people that sometimes will go up on you. And I got too much going on in my personal life for me to be getting cussed out for some shit I didn't do. So that's that on that. But anyways, y'all, let me stop yapping and going ahead and get to work. I'm going through my emails. I have some new emails in the claims files and also just like to my personal work email. So I want to go through those and just kind of see, what I'm up against. And then I need to make my smoothie because, my stomach is starting to growl, and coffee, obviously. So I want to get started on all that so I can really, get into planning my day. But I'll be back to let you guys know what's happening. so I'm not going to say no names or titles or anything, but some folks that represent the insured on their claims get on my last nerve. Like, I'm going through, I logged in Saturday to send an email to an office that's representing my insured, and because I wasn't able to get to it on Friday. So sent them like a copy of the abatement estimate for the structure and the contents, like a pretty detailed email just saying like, what the next steps are, what the estimate includes, blah, 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 what we're taking away, all that stuff. And the representative responds back and says, please send me the mitigation vendor's estimate as required by CDI regulations. All you had to do was just ask for it to be sent. Now, here's the thing. It was sent before. This is a claim that was transferred. So it was sent before by the previous adjuster. My irritation with the way he worded it is like, oh, it's required. Like, I know it's required for you to have it. I saw the email where it was sent to you before, so I was under the assumption that you already had it, because I referenced like another estimate. So when they say stuff like that, it's almost like they're like being combative in a way. And it could just be how I'm taking. I could just be sensitive, but I can kind of read between the lines, because like sometimes they'll like argue their case, like things that I'm already going to approve or whatever. For me as an adjuster, it's like you don't have to argue with me. It's either approved or it's not. So you can like argue and argue and argue, and then I'll just let you argue because I was already gonna pay for it. Or you can argue and argue and argue, and I'm still gonna write you a partial denial or a full denial because we're not paying for it because it's not owed. Like I don't really do the back and forth these days. That you know what, that might be why I don't have many arguments and stuff, because I'm not mean. I'm just not about to play with you. Like I got too much work to do to be sitting over here going back and forth. And then especially like these representatives that are working with the insured or whatever on their behalf, and just some of the attitudes, you argue with yourself, argue with your mama. This is what it is. This is what's going to be. Here the letter saying it, and here's the policy language for you. Review at your leisure. Anyways, let me get back to work, y'all. Okay, you guys. So I've gotten through all of the emails. I've gotten through all the emails. It wasn't anything too crazy. Like I have a lady, honestly, one lady I forgot about. She was a claim that I had last year. She reached out. She had just gotten done with her repairs. I want to say like earlier this year, but it was like right around the time of the wildfires. So I had no time or interest really in looking at anything she was talking about, because she had already been paid, but she was looking for, I don't even know if she was looking for she was looking for something. She was looking for something. But she reached out again. I completely forgot about her. And she's like, oh, I wanted to follow up. I know it's been busy with the wildfires, but she says we still owe her some stuff. So I need to look through her claim, which I'll probably do later on today. But I got some receipts from two customers actually that I need to go through, meal receipts and temporary housing. So I'm about to do that now. I love doing receipts. Some people hate it, but for me, it's just like a mindless activity, something that needs to be done. Doesn't take a lot of effort. I'm literally just entering in this information on a spreadsheet, doing some addition, calling it a day. Again, it's pretty easy to do, and it just kind of allows me to like ease into the day. On Mondays you got to ease in. So that's what I'm about to do right now. I have one for a public adjuster that I'm going to do because I got it last week, and I told her like 3 to 4 business days. And I want to say today is like the 3rd or 4th business day. So I'm going to go on ahead and just knock that out. And then I have another customer. She kind of just staying all over. Like she has some hotels, she's renting rooms, she's done Airbnb. I've offered to assist her with the housing, but she doesn't want the assistance. Not my problem. I'm just like, send in your receipts and send in your, documentation so I can get you reimbursed. So that's what she did. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go through those, which will both all together, just with the amount of receipts, it'll probably take like an hour or so. And yeah, that's it for now. But I wanted to just kind of discuss the deposition with y'all real quick. So I got an email like at the end of April for a claim that I handled in 2023. So I got it like the summer of 2023, and I was still pretty new to this company. So I got it, went and did the inspection, but the vendor had already done demo. So it was a water leak, hot water leak in the crawl space. When they reported the loss, they reported it as like a water heater leak. So that was like, it was like a whole thing with the cause of the loss being different. And then they had removed the material. So when that happens, they have a duty to provide us with like photos so we can see what it looked like prior to them like removing anything. Anywho, we get all the photos and stuff, and excuse me, initially I was going to recommend coverage, but there was some additional crawl space photos that came in that showed like heavy rot and deterioration. So we ended up denying the claim in full. When this happens, if a claim is like fully denied, usually the manager of the department's name goes on that letter. We ended up getting a Department of Insurance complaint on it. That still didn't change the decision because it was rot and deterioration. So the customer ended up getting an attorney and going after my company. So I was deposed and my manager was deposed. So what they did is they had our attorney prep me for the call. It was all on Zoom, thank God. Now, sometimes it is in person, but since the pandemic, a lot of it, from what I'm told, a lot of the depositions are on Zoom unless stated otherwise. So I had a meeting with the attorney who just kind of let me know like what a deposition is. You do have to like kind of swear under oath that you'll, tell the truth. And basically they just want information. They're trying to see if there are any loopholes, like if there's anything that was missed, if there were any questionable items, whatever. They want to make sure that coverage was denied properly. They want to look at the investigation, all that. So this is why it's very important to make sure that when you are noting your files, you're not putting in any opinions. Like even if the customer's an asshole, you don't put anything that shows that that's what you think. You just put facts. Like even for me, like if the customer cussed me out, I'll say customer was using strong language, something of the sort. I'll say something like that. Customer advised they were upset. The customer will tell you I'm pissed off, whatever. So I'll say something like that. The customer told me he was upset. I didn't say it. So you kind of leave it vague and factual. So if it ever does go to trial, or if it ever does get pulled, an attorney, which in this case, they pull a copy of all the claims notes, they have a copy of all of the claims documents. You want to make sure that you have done everything that you're supposed to do and that you don't look like you were trying to deny coverage or that you had an opinion on whether or not coverage went either way, all this stuff. So it went exactly how the attorney told me. They asked your background. So, how long have you been in claims? What companies have you worked for? What licenses do you hold? This, that, and the third. Does your company offer, training on this? Does your company offer training on that? So they asked a few different things about my background. I guess just basically see if I was even qualified to review the claim. And they asked me about like different parts of the investigation. When did you send out this vendor? Why did you send out this vendor? That kind of stuff. And basically what I was told and what I did is you just want to be as factual as possible. So they're entitled to like your best guess. So if they're asking like time frames or numbers and stuff like that, especially if it's been a long time, you can give them a range. And if you don't know something, you just say you don't know, I don't recall, things like that. You don't want everything to be I don't recall. So you do want to take some time to go through the claims file just to kind of familiarize yourself. For me, on this specific claim, I did go through like the photos that were taken, the photos that we used to make the denial decision, the investigation. We sent out a plumber to go and like take a look and see if there was any new plumbing installed. There was a lot of, again, like rotted pipes and rotted subfloor in the crawl space. So that was a lot happening, but there was like a pipe. It looked like a portion was replaced and all of that. So you want to kind of be familiar with the file to a certain extent. So the way it went is I was comfortable, but I was nervous because at the end of the day, I'm talking to an attorney. I'm having to, put my right hand up and swear, that I'm going to tell the truth. And it's not that I had any problem telling the truth. I was just concerned more or less with like, okay, I hope I don't say anything to incriminate myself or to incriminate, my company or whatever, because that's not my intention. And then, you just get those nerves. Like you might say something that opens up another set of questions for the attorney, and then you got to explain that. There was one point where the attorney was showing me crawl space photos, and he's like, "Oh, do you know what part of the house this is in?" And I have no clue. Like, it wasn't marked off or anything, which in hindsight, like moving forward, I'll probably ask a vendor to notate that. But then even if I did know then, I didn't know now. It's been a couple of years since I handled the claim, and I've handled hundreds of claims since then. So he was asking me questions, and it was like a series that I just didn't know the answer to, but it was like in the same ballpark. So it wasn't like he was asking me all kinds of questions I didn't know. So yeah, it wasn't that bad. So the prep was like maybe an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours. And then the actual deposition, they told me they could keep me for up to 7 hours, but they ended up only keeping me for like 3 hours because I handled the claim for a few months. But then once I did the denial and the Department of Insurance complaint came back, my manager took over the file. So then he handled it from there. So yeah, it was, I'm gonna be honest, it was intense. I had on my Apple Watch and my heart was spiking. Like I kept getting that little ding, ding, ding. And it was like, your heart rate is over 100 and it doesn't appear like you're moving. And I'm like, oh brother. And I'm on camera, so I don't want to sit there and do my little breathing exercises because how weird would that look? And it's being recorded. They go back like, oh, is this girl having a whole issue? Like, what's going on? She having a little mental breakdown, like right on camera. So yeah, I just did the best I could. But our attorney did say that I did well. And she was like, you answered the questions exactly how you're supposed to answer them. Also, you don't want to add more information than what you need to. So if they ask you, what color is this shirt? And it's white, you just say white. You don't add anything extra. Oh, it's a white, Louis Vuitton. They ask you that. They ask you what color it was. If they say, I don't know. If they say, do you know what color this is? You say yes. Yes or no questions, you give a yes or no answer. And then if they say what color, then you tell them the color. So that's kind of like how she, my attorney, the company's attorney, that's how she guided me. Like, if it's a yes or no question, you say yes or no. You don't give additional information until they ask. Because some people get nervous in that silence and start to like fill in and all that. So yeah, that was kind of that. It wasn't like a huge deal, but she did say that we are going to get a copy of the deposition in a couple of weeks, and we're able to look over it to see if everything that we said in the deposition, or everything I said in the deposition, is what I want to stay on record. If any changes need to be made, I can let them know. We have like 30 days, but she said, you don't do the changes on your own. Let me know and we can set aside the time. The thing is, though, if you completely change your answer, it could mess with your credibility if the claim goes to trial. That's another thing. I don't foresee this going to trial because we're pretty solid on the denial, and the attorney had mentioned that as well. But it's still that possibility it can go to trial. So if it does, I would likely be called to the stand, which would be a whole other thing. Like, LMG. So I'll keep y'all posted on that, but I just kind of wanted to give you like an overview of kind of like what it was and what it was like if you've never done one before. And if you're in this industry, you just kind of have to mentally prepare. That may be something that you have to do. So anyways, let me go ahead and get these receipts reviewed, and I'll be back with y'all in a little bit. Oh, and I also got my coffee. So all right, you guys. So it's been a couple of hours since I checked in with you, and let's just say those receipts are taking me forever. Like, I was going through the ones that the public adjuster sent me, and there were pages and pages and pages. So the way they normally have them set up is like a little spreadsheet. And typically, once I get to the bottom of the spreadsheet, so I thought I was done. They had it set up where they had them all listed, and then there was like actual photos of the receipts. But it was like, they had the list, then photos, then it was another list, then photos. And I was like, oh my God. So I was scrolling like, I'm going to be doing this forever. It took me like an hour and a half to get through just those receipts. And I still have to do the other lady's receipts. So that's likely going to take me till almost lunchtime. But it just kind of is what it is. This is what happens in insurance. Again, it's a mundane task and it's easy, but it does take time. Like I said, I wanted to kind of ease into Monday because I had not a long weekend, but my niece's birthday was yesterday. So we had a party for her. The day before, I was out and about. I had to get my nails done because they look crazy. And I worked a little bit. And also I went out to go and get her gift. So I haven't really like rested. I'm still kind of tired. So, I want to do something that didn't require me to really like get on the phone. And I've succeeded in that. But so I wanted to talk to y'all about, real quick while I'm making my second cup of coffee, I want to talk to you guys about like some books I'm reading. So I'm gonna just kind of discuss the authors right now, but I'm super into Jaquel J. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Takara Allen, and Siobhan Latrice. So I've been just kind of reading books on a loop. Right now, I was like trying to find things to get me to Qasim 3. Now, if you read like urban romance, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But this is by the author Jaquel J. It should be coming out this month per her Instagram page. So I was just like trying to find things. Now, I really love Takara Allen, but you have to be in like a headspace to read her books because she takes you through every emotion. Like literally, these are books that I can read to get my mind off of everything because it's so juicy. It's like a soap opera. So I was reading this book called Parachutes. There's 2 installments out, but a third one is coming out in July, I believe, last I read. So I'm like, okay, you know, I can read that one. I'm not gonna spill anything in case it's something that you guys are interested in or whoever, you know, reads urban romance. But let's just say the storyline is crazy. I have not read a book from her that I haven't been like super engrossed in. Right now I'm reading her series Seasons of Fidelity and I'm on the 3rd installment. It's 3 books and I'm on the 3rd one. Listen, this book is helping me get through these receipts. Like I didn't even realize it was taking me so long to get through them until I looked up and was like, I'm still doing this like at the time. So yeah, it's been kind of, honestly, for me, it's almost like therapy. Like I started, y'all know I, you know, do my little workouts and stuff and I do a lot of yoga. So that helps me to kind of decompress and breathe and all that stuff and just, you know, ground myself after having a stressful day at work or whatever. It's really been helpful. I've been doing yoga like consistently for about 2 years. But with that, I've also been like reading books. And I think I started out when I first got back into reading, I was doing a lot of like self-help books and then also autobiographies. I was like addicted to that. So I've read like everybody's autobiography. Well, everybody I'm interested in. But now I'm like reading, you know, the urban fiction and I am so addicted. I didn't know that there was like a whole community on urban fiction. Like the narrators, I follow most of the narrators that I listen to. I go on TikTok sometimes and just, you know, listen to people's reviews of different books. And on Instagram, you know, there's like a heavy book community too. Like it's so deep. I've even told my sister that one day when I can actually dedicate the time to it, I might want to start a book club like in like Southern California. It'd be dope to meet up, but I'm thinking, you know, it'd probably be something I would start online first and then see how many people are interested and then potentially have like meetups. There's a YouTuber that I follow. Her name is Alicia Geddes. She used to be known as Living Fearless, but she now goes by her name. And she has a book club like in Alabama. So I thought that'd be dope to do something like that out here. But anyways, I don't know. Comment below if you guys are like into urban, you know, fiction. And if so, let me know what like authors you like, what books you're reading and stuff, because I love recommendations. Like every time I get done with the book, I give myself a little bit of time to digest it and I hop into the next one, like within the same day sometimes, depending on how early I finish. So anyway, my second cup of coffee is done. So I'm gonna go on ahead and sip on that while I review those other receipts. After lunch, I really got to do some like heavy lifting as far as work. So I have, what do I have to do? I got an arborist report back. So an arborist typically goes out to look at like plant and landscaping. Some of the wildfire insurers have had like just a lot of like burn damage. If they didn't have burn damage to their home, some of them have like a lot of damage to plants in their landscaping. So this particular customer in Palisades, he's got a lot of like damaged plants, and the adjuster that went out to go and look at his home recommended that we get an arborist to go out to see if we are able to salvage any of these plants, and if we're not, what the cost would be. Now, there is a limit on the policy for most policies, because y'all know I've worked for different carriers, but for most policies, it's about 5% of coverage A being dwelling. So even if, you know, the amount is astronomical, they're tied to that limit. And then on top of that, it's only like $500 per plant. So even if it's a $2,000 tree, the limit is $500. Again, that is pretty standard from all the companies that I work with. I don't know if it differs, you know, with other companies or different states, but that is what we have. So I'm gonna go and review that because it's pretty sizable. So I'm gonna have to put in like a write-up and send it for review and approval. I kind of spoke about it in the beginning of this video that it's been taking us a long time to get things approved. So I want to go on ahead and get that in because I know, we at the beginning of June, I might not get it approved until mid-June. Okay. So I'm going to go on ahead and work on that. Again, if I can work on it before lunch, I will, but if not, it'll be after lunch. And then there is another customer. I issued 2 payments for this guy. He's been reaching out to me daily. I know he's getting frustrated. I'm getting frustrated. I've talked to management about getting this approved, and it's just like, it's literally like pulling teeth. Like, I'm kind of to my wits' end. Like, what the hell? What the entire hell? Just approve the payment. So I'm going to probably go in and look at that and hit up management again. Like, look, I need y'all to do something because I sent this payment, like, I want to say mid May, and here we are in June. I gotta get some type of movement so I can move these claims along. And then I got a couple of like bills from the testing company. So we want to make sure that we pay those. A lot of times it's like net 30. So you want to make sure that you pay them on time and just, things like that. Again, it's Monday. So I do have some stuff to do, but I have like little maintenance things that I want to get out of the way because today is quiet, but sometimes, it gets real as the week goes on. So I'll pick back up with you guys and let you know how successful I've been once I get another little break. All right, you guys. So I just clocked out for lunch. I don't know what I'm going to eat. Actually, no, I do. I do. I have some frozen taquitos that I got from Trader Joe's last week. So I'm going to go ahead and eat that. I was going to go out to just get myself something because I don't have anything readily prepared. Like when I make dinner tonight, I'll have leftovers, but I don't have none right now. I also don't have enough time to like make a meal like that. So yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and eat those taquitos. But anyways, just a quick little update. So I was able to get through the receipts that my second insurer sent in. So she had some meal receipts. It was a lot still, but not too many. It wasn't as many as the first one. And then I got through her housing reimbursement. So this is a lady I think I was explaining that she's paying for her housing out of pocket, despite the fact that I offered to take care of it for her, but she's paying for that. And then also her children are in town. They are in college during the school year, but they're out now. So they needed temporary housing. So I was just trying to note the file with all that information. And right before I clocked out, I was doing the payment letters, but time got away from me and I didn't want to get that 5th hour penalty. If you work in California, you know that if you're hourly, you can't go over the 5th hour or else the company has to pay you a penalty hour, and companies really don't want to do that. So they usually will have a conversation with you so that does not happen. And if it does, it's not like the biggest deal as long as it doesn't happen all the time, but they will kind of expect you to have an explanation as to why you went over. So anyways, let me go on ahead and preheat the oven so I can eat those taquitos. I'm just going to take it easy, honestly, and I'm going to listen to my book. I am still listening to Seasons of Fidelity. I think I kind of mentioned that to you. And this story is so good. Oh my God. Like, it's so, so good. So I'm going to just listen to that while I'm eating my food and then just kind of try to decompress. I also try to take a 15-minute walk on my lunch breaks just to kind of get the blood flowing because I am like sitting, like y'all know I'm not going on inspections right now because I'm doing the wildfire claim. So I still try to keep active, and even more so because I'm not getting the running up and down the stairs and going inside of people's houses that I would normally get while being in the field. So yeah, the plan though is to hurry up and eat so I can get downstairs and do my little walk on the treadmill. I really should go walk outside, but I just don't be wanting to talk to people. I guess I technically could just have my headphones in. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But first things first, let me eat, get some nourishment, and then I'll get back to y'all. All right, y'all. So I know I kind of prefaced the beginning of this video letting you know that this is going to be kind of loaded. I'm just going to let you know, like, it's a lot of stuff going on, and I wanted to kind of do sort of a catch-all in this because I can just discuss it all while I'm doing the vlog. But basically, I want to take some time off work. I don't know how I'm going to go about that just yet. I haven't talked to my supervisor about it yet because I kind of want to read our employee handbook. I do have the time to take off, but I don't know like when, but I just know that I need some time to decompress. So, for you guys that probably have not been following along, because I know the videos have been kind of scarce. So, if this is your first time kind of tuning in, I did lose my brother at the beginning of the year, like a week after the wildfires started in Southern California. So, I'm on that team, kind of doing special assignment, and then my brother died. So my whole life has just been kind of altered, whatever. And May was tough because it's like the first Mother's Day and then his first birthday, without him being here. So I was really just trying to get through the month of May. Oh, also, I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous video, but the day after my brother's birthday is the anniversary of my father's passing. So it was just a lot in May. And, my niece's birthday, his daughter being like the exact week after, like her birthday is exactly 7 days after his. So that was a lot to deal with, this year. Just, it's like the first, whatever. And we've already kind of chucked up 2025 to be just a difficult year because it's going to be a lot of firsts, like all of our first birthdays without him, holidays, all that stuff. So I say all that to say that with work being as stressful as it is, it's like I don't really feel like I've had any time to like really, really decompress. Like I've had days off here and there. I even have days coming up that I'm taking off. Like my son's birthday, I'm taking that off, obviously. And so it'll be like a few days. But I do think I need more than just a few days here and there. I feel like I need like a few weeks to a month to just kind of decompress and deal with like one thing at a time. Like I've basically just been dealing with like work and personal life at the same time. Some days are like easier than others, and I'm okay as of right now, but I think I just recognize like a real one just need a break. And I think it's important to recognize that in yourself. Like sometimes we just keep going and going and going, and you're on autopilot when you need to just kind of unplug from everything, or at least what you can. So I've already accepted the fact that grief is just a part of my life at this point. Like there's nothing I can really do about that. It's just I'm going to be grieving for as long as I am blessed to live. But I also know that, I think I just need time to kind of like process that and not be dealing with work on top of it, especially with all the weird stuff that's going on at work. And when I say weird stuff, I'm just saying like just how busy it is and then having to deal with customers. People are getting antsy. Like we're, almost 5 months out from the fire. So things are starting to happen. Cleanups are starting to happen. People are wanting to go back home. It's like the majority of people don't just want to stay in an Airbnb for the foreseeable future or in a hotel, especially if you have children. So people are really trying to get back home. And the delays that are happening with the insurance company, it doesn't help, and we're kind of, as an adjuster, like we're the middleman. Like we're kind of trying to appease the customer, but then also trying to honor company guidelines and all of that. And then I told y'all earlier I had that deposition, so that just threw a wrench in things. I got customers coming back from previous claims before the wildfires asking for things, and it's just a lot, and I'm just really not in the mood. So pretty much what I plan on doing this week is looking at the employee handbook and trying to figure out like how I can go about this. I likely will have a conversation with my supervisor at some point once I kind of figure out what I want to do and when. She's pretty cool and understanding. And also, I mean, I literally called her the night that my brother passed away. So she knows what's going on. And she definitely checks on me pretty regularly just to make sure that I'm in a good headspace, which I like more than appreciate. And I don't think that she would like blink an eye if I told her that I needed some time off. I think her biggest thing is just like, you're not quitting, are you? And I'm definitely not doing that. Like, this is my career. Y'all know I eventually want to change jobs. Like I don't want to be customer facing anymore. Once I find something that pays, what I'm making or more, that's not customer facing, and I don't have to like demote myself, I'm going to be, trying to transition out of claims. But for right now, this is what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm gonna try to figure that out. I did bring it up to my therapist last week and she completely agreed. She's just like, look, at the end of the day, you are a human being and you have a finite amount of energy. So if you need to take some time off, that's what you need to do for yourself, like for your mental health, for your physical health, all of that. So that is what I am working on. So when I do finally get some time off. Again, if I can figure it out in the near future. I don't even know if I'll be able to take the time that I want off, but I am like using and I've said this before in different videos too. So if you're not already, please take your PTO, whether you're doing a staycation or you're going away. Take your sick time if you're actually sick, like do what you got to do. Those days are there for a reason. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to work out right now. And if I do end up getting some time off, then the vlogs will change for that time period. It'll be more, just day in the life with whatever I'm doing at the time. And, I definitely need to do more of the day in the life with my son. He's getting big, and he's about to go to first grade. I think when I started these vlogs, he was like 1. So it's just crazy how big he's gotten. But I do want to do more videos with him. Not always showing his face and stuff. Like, I know I've shown his face in like other videos, but like that's not really, he's a kid. So I don't really want to put him on camera like that and just kind of make it make it his thing when it's my thing. Maybe when he's a little bit older and he can make that choice if he wants to be in videos. Absolutely. But I think more like I want to include him, because of the day in the life aspect, but not necessarily have the videos like surrounding him. More like what he and I are doing, if that makes sense. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I don't know what that's going to look like, but I did want to bring it up because it's real life. And I'm sure a lot of us just kind of need some time to decompress and, just like deal with one thing at a time. So yeah, before I burn my taquitos, let me go ahead and check on those. Eat, and then I have about 25 minutes left on my lunch. So if I'm able to eat in 10 minutes, then I'll be able to go and do my little 15-minute walk and then get back to work. So yeah, y'all stick around. I got more stuff coming. All right, you guys. So it has been a few hours. I have about like 45 minutes or so left in my workday. And I've gotten through a lot, but this last item that I'm working on is taking a long time. So I think I explained this earlier in the video where I have an arborist report that I need to review. So I'm doing that right now, but I completely forgot. I also got back the abatement cleaning estimate. And I had to go through the abatement cleaning estimate because they also recommended to remove some carpet and insulation. So I basically need to add the insulation and the carpet onto the repair estimate. So I'm basically going in, reworking the repair estimate, removing the previous items that were on there, adding the abatement items, and coming up with a new total so I can send that for review and approval. So yeah, I'm still working on that. And to be honest, this is going to probably take me the remainder of the workday. So I just wanted to, come back in and let y'all know what's happening. I was able to get those receipts, although it took me forever. I was able to get those receipts reviewed. And then once I was done, another customer reached out with some more receipts. And I'm like, okay, I can't do no more receipts today. So I'll address those like the rest of the week. But I did want to work on this big project because, like I said, I know it's going to take some time to get approved and it's going to take me a while. So pro tip as an adjuster, if you have something that is going to be daunting, is going to take forever, my recommendation is to work on it as soon as you possibly can. Because when you start procrastinating, then you end up at a point where you're trying to do it the last minute. And then of course the customer or attorney or public adjuster is reaching out, asking you for an update and you don't have one. So this is kind of one of those things. I did put it off last week because like I told you, I just wasn't in the headspace. But today I was like, let me get in the headspace. So this is what I've been working on. I did work on some other things this afternoon, but this is what I've been working on for, I would say, the last hour. And I'm probably going to do a little bit of OT trying to get through this because I do want to at least get it to where I can send it for review so I can get it in the queue. But yeah, that's basically it for today. Like I said, I might make this like a couple of day vlog. So I think I'm going to end it in today's work because, y'all basically have seen what's going on. But yeah, I'll be back another day this week. Whew. Hey y'all, good morning. It is Tuesday and I'm just logging into work. Like literally just logging in. I clocked in and made my smoothie real quick while my computer was loading. And now I'm about to see what is on the agenda for today. Let me kind of, I guess, go over like yesterday, like what all I finished. So that claim that I was telling you guys about, the one that was like pretty big, I had gotten like a couple reports back and I needed to send it for approval. I was able to get that sent for approval. Thank God. So that was done. And then as I was logging off, I saw that one of the payments that I had been waiting on for like 3 weeks finally went through. So I was able to email the customer and just let them know, hey, the payments have been approved and this is what to expect. This one has a mortgage company, this one is going straight to you, yada yada yada. Only thing is I had to like adjust the payment because we had like paid a portion. This is like for content. We had paid a portion of it before, and this is one of those customers that is going to like low-key probably put me through the ringer. So I told him, I said, if you have questions, like I tried to explain it as best I could, but I'm like, if you have questions, let me know and I could put together like a little not spreadsheet, but like basically what I'll do is like I'll give people the emails and then I'll highlight it. So I told him to like let me know. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's see. Did he email me back? Because I have a new email in the file. Let's see. Yep, he responded. Okay, he said he wants to schedule a call. That is really annoying. Well, I guess we'll be scheduling a call. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyways, so yeah, I'm just again just logging on and seeing what's going on. So I don't have too many new emails, just like mostly like general emails, like nothing to me directly. Actually, this one is to me directly. Let's see. She's asking about some type of payment. Girl, leave me alone. Okay, so sometimes the agents will contact us and ask us for like updates on claims. So it's just like another like it's just another like level. So like they'll reach out like, oh, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? And we have to kind of give them like an overview. So like the same overview that we give the insured and that smoothie just been in the way. The same overview that we give the insured and that we like put in our claims files, we give to the agent. So I'm going to put together an email for this person and let them know and then go from there. And yeah, that's basically it. Let's see. So I'm looking at my desktop and I have a good amount of work, I had this lady that was asking me for an update. So she had some mold. Basically, her refrigerator, she had a sub-zero refrigerator and it leaked onto her floors. This was like when they lost power after the fire. So the refrigerator was sitting there leaking and she needs new floors. Now the thing is, there is a mold limit. This is for anything that was caused by the mold specifically. So that limit is $5,000, and it's not much, but most insurance companies it's like either $5,000 or $10,000, and it's usually not per claim; it's usually per policy period. So meaning like if you have two losses in a year, if you exhaust that 5,000 on that first claim, you're done. Or, if you use 2,000 on one claim, you only have 3,000 left, so on and so forth. So yeah, so she has 5,000 and I'm just waiting for like documentation for her so I can resolve that portion. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, anyways, go ahead and get started. I'm gonna drink my smoothie because I am pretty hungry. Oh, I have to do a partial denial for this lady. So she's trying to get, one thing that's been coming up is the soil. So people are worried about contamination of like the land and soil. Now the policy does not cover land. So even with the department, people are getting confused with some of the documentation that's coming out from the Department of Insurance. It's like, there's still covered property versus not covered property. And the policy states very clearly that like land, soil, foundation is not covered. So even if there's possible contamination, it's not something that the policy is going to cover because it was never covered in the first place. We've had some situations with mudslides, which is a little, it's a lot to get into, but basically if the mudslide, in short, if the mudslide was a result of the damages from the wildfire, like basically it wouldn't have happened if the wildfire didn't happen, then we're able to cover damages to covered property from the mudslide. And that's what people are missing. So this one particular lady, she's like been kind of just coming at me like, no, the Department of Insurance says, and I'm like, you're not reading this correctly. It's not covered. And I'm gonna go ahead and get you a real nice partial denial saying that, because I'm not about to keep going back and forth with you. But anyways, let me stop yapping and get some work done and drink my smoothie. But I'll be back. All right, so as I'm sure you guys have gathered, I don't really like talking on the phone like that. And it's not anything specific to the job. I just don't be wanting to talk. Like that's just kind of what it comes down to. But it is necessary for the job. So I just do what I gotta do. But the guy that sent the email, he kind of gave me his availability for this week. And so I threw out a few times, like let me know, what time is available. I typically do not schedule a call longer than 30 minutes because I only have 8 hours in a day, so you got people that want to be on the phone for like an hour or two. I don't like, this is where you got to set boundaries. He said he wanted to go through the estimate line by line. Yeah, we're not doing that because this estimate is pretty self-explanatory. Like it literally says exactly what it's for. So I'm going to go over that. It's like cleaning for the most part. And then like some repairs of like his pool and landscaping. And a lot of the estimates that we use were like our expert estimates and then the estimates from his vendor. So it's nothing really to explain. So I'm going to go over one line. That's the same line in each room. And then, just kind of explain to him, like, how we got to whatever number, because he was saying he doesn't understand some of the stuff. So I'll give him an explanation, but we're not going over 30 minutes. We're not going to do that. And then for the content estimate, I can understand why that's confusing. I totally get it, because if you don't work in the industry, you wouldn't understand. To be honest, I was annoyed that I even had to make that change. I knew this was going to come up with like some other questions, but it is what it is. So I am going to go over that with him. I kind of hope he does like a morning call or chooses a morning call. And I say that because I know I've talked about procrastination before. And in my experience, like the things that you don't want to do, if you get them done early enough in the day, then it's like behind you. You don't have to worry about it anymore and you can move on with your life and you don't have to be worried about it all day. If he wants an afternoon call, it is what it is. But I offered him like morning and then I offered him like an early afternoon call. Because I'm like, look, let's go on ahead. Let's get the show on the road. Let's go ahead and start this 30 minutes because you're on a timer. I'm not giving you an hour or two of my 8-hour workday when I got other stuff going on. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So yeah, anyways, that's that on that. But basically, I'm paying a couple of invoices right now. We have like a time frame for paying the invoices. And so I don't want to end up on that list that they send out like, oh, this hasn't been paid or whatever. So I'm going to go on ahead and get that done. And then, I think I was telling you guys yesterday. So I have a couple of customers that have reached out for previous claims. So I'm going to reach out to them and just kind of finalize whatever I need to finalize on those so I can, work on my current claims. But yeah, I feel like today is going to be a productive day with the time that I have. I still need to log out within enough time so I can get me a little workout in, whatever. Yesterday I did yoga. I was tired. I'm still tired today, honestly. Haven't been sleeping the best, and I'm pretty sure it's because it's like getting warm. But I need to figure that out. So I did some yoga yesterday because I needed to do something. And also yoga has been making me stronger and it's really good for my mental health. But I think I need to do some cardio today, like heart health and all that, So yeah. Anyways, I'll check back in a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of, let y'all know what was happening with that. All right, y'all. So I'm just taking a quick little break. I just got off the phone with this lady and she was asking me about a payment that she received. And I don't remember issuing this payment. So I was like, let me check and see what's happening. Now, this is my fault because the payment got approved when I was out of the office. And I just completely forgot to follow up on it. Now, what happened is the payment that I issued was rejected because I guess it was over whatever limit. It was for trees, plants, and shrubs. So it was over the limit. My supervisor went in, she rejected the payment, but then at the same time, she issued a new payment. So I think in my mind, when I saw the rejected payment, I was thinking, oh, okay, I got to go in and fix whatever she's saying needs to be fixed. So I put it on my diary for this week. And she ended up just issuing like a new payment on my behalf. I don't get a notification for that. I only get a notification if a check that I sent was approved or if a check that I sent was rejected. So lady's calling me like, oh, what's this payment for? And I'm like, child, I don't know. So I go and look and I look at my supervisor's note and then look at the information on the check and I see that it's for trees, plants, and shrubs. So this was one of the people that had Her home was a total loss during the fire, and we had a building consultant go out and prepare an estimate for the rebuild. So I need to get her payment for like the detached structures. That though, I just got the reserves approved on that. So I can go on ahead and work on getting her payment, which I believe is going to be like policy limits. So yeah, she would just ask me a couple questions. I addressed those and I think we're good to go. But basically, things are moving. Things are moving. So that public, I don't know if I mentioned this. I might have just said it on Instagram, but I have a public adjuster that's been like blowing me up about something that's not going to be ready for like another week or two, which I told him last week. But he just like, he'll call and he'll just continue to call like every 10 minutes, which I think is like, it's got to be some type of like issue. Because why would you do that? Like, just leave one message. Because I do get back to people, but like if you're calling me over and over, for me that's harassment, and I'm likely not going to return your call to the end of the day. Because stop playing with me. Like, stop. Because there's a reason why I'm not answering your call. You know. Anyways, yeah, let me go ahead and get back to work. Like I said, I told you earlier, I'm picking up my niece. So I'm going to be gone for a little bit to go, grab her. So I want to just get as much as I can done. Because when I come back, I don't plan on doing any heavy work. It's just going to be, reviewing, probably some invoices and then planning my day for tomorrow. But I likely have a call tomorrow. So I want to make sure that I'm in a good position. But yeah, I'll be back. All right, you guys. So if you have been following me for a while, you know that I'll do like car clips here and there. Like when I was going on my inspections, I would, like get some little footage of me driving or talk to you guys in the car. I bought another like dash mount, but like it just wasn't sticking. I was so irritated. So I haven't really been able to get car content in a while. So I did find something, BRB. It's this little like sun visor cell phone holder. I found it on, I don't know if it was recommended on TikTok. I think it was recommended on TikTok and I ended up going on Amazon and purchasing it. So I'm gonna put this in my car today when I go and pick up my niece and see like how good it works. But like you can hang it from your sun visor, you can hang it from the rear view mirror. It looks like you can even use it inside. So I'm gonna see what it's hitting for, honestly. But yeah, it looks like it doesn't have like the little sticky adhesive stuff. It has like a little clamp that you can use. So we're gonna see. I don't know if I'm gonna have a bunch of time to set it up. Like it doesn't look like it takes a lot of time, but when I go pick her up, I try to get there and get back as soon as I can so I can finish out my shift. So yeah. So look for some car content coming. Anyways, okay, so it is almost lunchtime. It's like about 10 minutes to 12. And I usually take my lunch like around 12:30ish, whatever. So I have leftovers, which is a blessing. I'm gonna eat that, but I'm thinking I should eat it now because I don't know if I'm gonna do simply a 30-minute lunch break or if I'm gonna go longer. Because I figure if I only do 30, then I'll be able to, I won't have to make up as much time when I get back. So we'll see. It just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. I'm a little bit tired, but I do need to get a little walk in on my lunch break. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go on ahead and heat up some food, eat it while I'm still working, and then we'll see where my lunch break takes me. Oh. Okay. So you remember how I was talking to y'all yesterday about like the books and stuff that I've been listening to? So if you guys listen to Jaquel J, she has this series, the Delgado series, and I read them all on Kindle. Well, the first two, at the time when I started reading them, Capone 1 and 2, he's like the first brother they discuss. They were on Audible, so I listened to those. But then Capone 3, and then all of the Capadanas, all of the Capris, they were on Kindle. So I read them all there, and they're now coming to Audible. So like I've just been kind of reading them like on Audible as they become available. And today Capadonna 3 release. So I'm just listening to that. Again, I already know what's gonna happen, but you get a different experience when you listen to it versus read it. So, and I like the series so much. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to all of them. Anyways, yeah, let me go on ahead and get that food together. I just want to kind of check in with y'all, let you know what's going on. Oh, I didn't even talk about work. So I got a lot done today. A lot done. That second cup of coffee really kicked me into gear. So I should be good. By the time it's time for me to leave, I should be okay as far as like the work that I need to do. I'm just waiting on this customer to tell me when he wants to talk, whether it be tomorrow or Thursday. Something tells me he wants to talk tomorrow, which is fine. I'd rather get it over with. But yeah, I'm waiting for that because I like to get my little appointments on the calendar so I can just kind of have a structure for my day and know, what I'm doing. But anyways, yeah, I'll see y'all in a little bit. Good morning, friends. I'm back. Today is Wednesday. And I think this is going to be the last day that I vlog because I don't want it to be super duper long. Especially because I'm remote right now, so it's not like I have like much to show outside unless I'm going to, pick up a kid or something. Y'all know I've been telling you I've been picking up. Well, yesterday I ended up having to pick up my son too. So I was basically like the kid mobile. So I picked up my niece, took her home, and it started to rain randomly. Like we were not expecting rain, and my son went to school without a jacket. It was warm, so we weren't expecting it, and it wasn't in the forecast. So I had my jacket on when I went to go pick her up, and so I ended up just going to pick him up, but just made sure I brought a jacket with me. Because normally my husband would go get him, but I hit him up like, hey, he doesn't have a jacket. So he was like, okay, well, I guess you'll go get him. So that was what happened. And when I got back, I had to finish up a couple of things. Like I needed to email some customers. I have this strategy that I do. Here's the thing. This is just something I do. I'm not saying that I recommend this, but if I have something heavy to tell a customer and I don't feel like having any backlash throughout the day, sometimes what I'll do is I'll send the message at the very end of the day. So if there is backlash, I'll be off. And then when I come back the next morning, I've had a chance to kind of digest and I can just kind of deal with it with a fresh start, if that makes sense. So that's what I did with this public adjuster one. He had asked me for some documents and I just knew it was going to turn into like a back and forth situation. I just really didn't have the energy for that. So I made sure that I sent it when I was leaving the office. Well, leaving my desk. And I don't have anything new from him. So either he didn't have a chance to review it or he reviewed it and thought it was fine. So time will tell. Anyways, I'm just logging on. I just logged on about like 12 minutes ago. So I'm still setting up. I had to make my smoothie. Y'all know it's my little morning routine. I just took the baby to school. So, I get back here, make my smoothie and get to work. But pretty much I'm going to log on to our like main portal to see what I have going on, if I have any new approvals, emails, things like that. And I don't have any new approvals. That's crazy. Yeah, no new approvals, but I do have, I have a new email. It looks like in the file, but I think they sent that email to me personally too. So it's not like anything that I haven't seen. And I have a good amount of work, for today, but nothing too crazy. So what I am going to start with, I need to review this lady's receipts. She sent them to me, I think last Friday, and I told her like 3 to 5 business days. So today would technically be like the 3rd business day. So I'm going to go on ahead and work on that so I can hopefully get it done within like the next hour or so. And then also I had a public adjuster send me a housing option. Well, the public adjuster's housing vendor sent me a housing option. And I'm gonna be honest, it's out of control. So it's for a Palisades customer. And, the fair market value and all of that, their comparable rentals are going to be pretty expensive. So I expected that. But this one, it's not really the rent, it's the security deposit. The security deposit is like close to 100K. And so just to kind of give you a quick overview, if you don't know, the insurance company is not responsible for the security deposit. Okay. But the insurance company will advance the security deposit, but it'll do it from another coverage. So in this case, we know that the customer has personal property items that need to be reviewed and resolved. So what we'll do is if we honor the security deposit, like for this particular one, we'll pull, let's just say it's 50,000. We'll pull that 50,000 from the contents portion. And then let's say they have $100,000 worth of contents. We're only going to pay them 50,000, and then they'll get the rest of the 50,000 once we get the security deposit back, less any applicable charges. You know how sometimes a landlord will charge for like painting or like if something's broken when the person leaves, stuff like that. So people are usually okay with that because, again, they're not having to pay out of pocket. But then you do have some people that are willing to pay the security deposit out of pocket. Now, the problem is that I don't know, because they had damage to their home, but it was mostly like smoke and ash damage to the house, not really like, any painting or anything that needs to be done. Or like drywall repairs and painting and stuff like that. It's not really anything like that. It's just like smoke and ash, which a lot of the homes had. And then there is damage to the contents, which we will likely have enough to cover the contents. But with what they're asking for the security deposit, I don't know if my company is going to be okay with advancing that much money without a guarantee of getting it back, if that makes sense. So anyway, I sent it to my manager, I want to say Friday when I got it. Today's Wednesday. I told them I need a few days, for them to review. I haven't heard anything additional from my manager. So I'll reach out today and just see if there's an answer or anything they want me to do, and then we'll go from there. So I need to get that taken care of, hopefully between today and tomorrow. Call that I was telling you guys about, the customer that wanted to do a video chat. I don't even know if I shared that with y'all, but this guy wants to do a video chat to go over documents. And honestly, I'm like, if I can go over the stuff with you on video and like you stop calling me as much, then let's do it. Let's go on ahead and set up a video chat. So he actually had to reschedule it to tomorrow in the afternoon. We were originally going to do today at 9, but he said he had a meeting come up, which is fine. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and work on those things. And then basically everything else is going to be follow-ups. I like to go through claims like that I haven't touched in a few days, because not everybody is blowing you up. Like some people are just kind of waiting until they get new information from you. So it's important as an adjuster to make sure that you're, kind of regularly going through your claims. If it's taking you forever to get, something from a vendor, reach out to that vendor to find out what's going on, kind of put some fire under them. I try not to be like annoying. Like I'm not hitting you up every single day, but like I have a pool company that's taken like months to get us estimates, and that's really kind of unacceptable. So I reached out to them last week and the week before, didn't get a response. So now I'm about to probably escalate it. Like y'all gonna have to stop playing with me, because the customer's reaching out like, hey, what's going on? I sent this to you back in March and here we are in June. So he's justified in being annoyed, and I'm annoyed because now I got to deal with the customer being upset, So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to do. So yeah, let me stop yapping, go on ahead and get to work, drink my smoothie before it gets warm, and that's disgusting. But yeah, I'll be around. The Pro 5 procedure and also the abatement estimates that So this is a woosah moment. Nothing pisses me off more than someone who doesn't know what the F they're talking about. Someone that's asking me for something that it just doesn't make sense. And I'm not saying that I know everything. I've been doing this for a while, so I know a lot, right? I'm not going to even disrespect my expertise, but I don't know everything. I'm not an expert, I've dealt with enough claims from start to finish to know a lot about a lot of stuff. Now, I just got off the phone with a public adjuster. He's asking me for a procedure 5. Now, procedure 5, if you don't know what that is basically when, typically when I see it is when, let's say a customer had a leak and they had a plumber that cut into drywall without testing it, but they cut into the drywall to fix the leak. And what happens is we are required in California to test the material before we go into it. So if they test it after the fact and it's determined that there is lead or asbestos, contamination, or, in the material, it possibly exposed all the contents in the area in that vicinity to these contaminants. So procedure 5 is basically the testing vendor going back in and doing an additional assessment, and then they provide the insurance company or the insured or customer with a detailed report as to what needs to be done to remedy it. So they'll recommend, for example, they may recommend like a special cleaning of the structure, like a special wipe down, and then they may recommend disposal of like soft goods Soft goods meaning anything that's like material that was like in the way, like anything that got dust particles on it, something that's not easily cleaned. And then they'll likely recommend a wipe down, special type of wipe down for hard surface content. So like your tables and chairs if they don't have fabric, things like that. When we're doing this testing, we are asking the vendor to prepare a protocol. So do the testing, but then also give us a protocol as to what needs to be done to remedy these items, the contents and the structure. And that's typically how we are basing our scope of work. Okay. Now, because we already have this protocol from the vendor, we don't need to request a procedure 5 because that's essentially them doing like the same type of report. It's redundant. Now, this public adjuster brought this to my attention back in April. We're in June now. Follow me? Okay, we're in June. I didn't think it was needed, but I still called the testing vendor anyway, just to see, was there a conversation that was had prior to me getting involved? Maybe there's something I don't know. Although I'm looking at your report, I don't see that. Maybe it's something I missed. I'm never, too proud to double check my information. Although I know something may have happened that I don't know. So let me reach out. So I reached out to the company. I noted the person that I spoke with and all that. And I said, hey, this public adjuster is saying that, he wants a procedure 5 approved. I want to know, is this something that you guys are recommending? Because I didn't see it on the testing report. They tell me, yeah, no, we didn't recommend that. And I confirmed, I said, it's because you have a protocol here already, correct? He says, yeah, we already have a protocol. And if we recommend a procedure 5, we let you guys know that when we send out the report. Thanks. That's all I need to know. I emailed the public adjuster, let him know, hey, I spoke with such and such at the company. This is what they said. Cool. So then moving forward today, he says that he's not in agreement with, we had an abatement vendor go out based off of the testing results. They went out and prepared an estimate for the structure, and they prepared a preliminary estimate for the contents, because the contents is like a couple pieces. Like they have to do that like in segments, and I'll explain that in a second. So he says that he's not in agreement with what the abatement vendor wrote on his estimate. I'm asking him, I said, well, what exactly are you not in agreement with? And he says, can I send it to you in writing? So you can't have a conversation. Like you can't just tell me verbally so I can kind of know where we're going with this. Okay, cool. If you want to send it in writing, that's what's up. Send it in writing, and then I'll forward that over to the vendor so we can all be on the same page. So that was where we left off. Contents. Contents takes a little more time because the vendor has to go through all of the contents kind of like piece by piece to determine what is salvageable and what is a total loss. If there's something that's salvageable, they put those in a category, and then we get a cleaning estimate for restoring those items. If there are items that are deemed a total loss, they prepare a separate report for that, and we send that report for pricing. I may have went over this earlier in this video. It's been 3 days, so forgive me if this is a repeat, but that's basically how that's handled. So I always stress, this is preliminary. This is not all you're getting. Usually they just kind of write, what they would need to do for like hard surface goods while they schedule another appointment to do the rest of the items. Okay. So he's explaining certain things to me, and he's kind of speaking in circles, which lets me know you don't even know what you're talking about. You just want more money, which is fine, but at least know what you're talking about, because I don't even know how to help you. I don't even know how to say no because you don't know what you're asking me for. So he's like, yeah, the backyard concrete has some cracks. What does that have to do with the abatement? I said, so what are you asking for? You're asking for the cracks to be fixed? And he's like, well, no, but so what you asking? And we off the phone now. I still don't know what he's asking for. I said, if you're insinuating that there was burn damage to the concrete, if you're insinuating that there's some type of damage from the fire, that's the repairs. That's a contractor. We're talking about abatement right now. We're talking about cleaning, getting the place restored, to pre-loss condition as far as the contaminants, and then doing a clearance testing before we get to any repairs. That's a whole different section. We're not talking about that. He's like, oh, because you guys are sending people out, and this person can't do this and this person can't do that. Mind you, this is a public adjuster. I'm stressing that because it's like, is this your first rodeo, or is this your first rodeo? Like, what's going on? So I don't know if he's new or if he just simply doesn't know what's going on, but this is typically how it works. There's specialized vendors. This vendor does mitigation. This vendor does repairs. This vendor does contents. This is normal. This is normal. Also, to date, he hasn't presented me with a counter estimate. So you're asking for stuff saying that it's not complete, but you can't tell me what's not complete. And you ain't even presented me with your cost. So when I asked him about his estimate, he said, oh, I'll get it to you as soon as possible. Okay. Anyways, let me go on ahead and call the vendor and confirm what I already know so I can email this guy and tell him again, we're not paying for no Pro 5 because it's not needed. It's unnecessary. I'll be back. All right, you guys. So it is arguably one of my favorite times of day, and that's lunchtime. I was just making some tacos, leftovers basically from last night. It is a simple meal that I basically make every Tuesday because the whole family enjoys tacos. And I mean, honestly, where can you go wrong with tacos? I swapped out like regular sour cream some years ago for non-fat Greek yogurt. So I'm just going to be having that. A little bit of cheese. It's like a light blend cheese that I got from Trader Joe's, and I have some salsa that I got from Whole Foods. So it's, I mean, pretty basic tacos, but it's gonna get the job done. I will be satisfied. It tastes good, and it'll get me to either snack time or an early dinner. So yeah, I'm gonna try to assemble these real quick and get them eaten, and then I should still have enough time to do a little walk after I get done eating. I told y'all sometimes I like to do a little 15-minute walk on my lunch break. So yeah, that's what I plan to do, and I'm gonna listen to my book. I'm listening to a new book. I can't remember the full name. I think it's The Covenant of Ezra. I think that's what it's called, but it's by Love Belvin. That's another one of my authors that I really like. So book is pretty good. So I'm gonna go on ahead and just listen to that and just, relax. But I'll be back with some more details and stuff on the workday to end the vlog. All right, you guys. So I am back from lunch. Just log back in, and I'm just gonna be honest. If you need to decompress, like especially in the middle of the workday, especially if you work a stressful job like I do in insurance claims, go take you a little walk. Whether it be outside, in the elements, or if you have a treadmill. I have a treadmill in my garage. So I just went downstairs to do a little uninterrupted walk while I listened to my book. And then also I was voice texting with my sister. So, you know, but anyways, I recommend, like highly recommend, just like getting a little bit of activity, just that 15 minutes. Like I just feel so much better. Like I feel like the endorphins are moving, and I don't know, I'm just in a better mood. It's not even like today I've been in a bad mood. It's just, work can just be a lot sometimes. And then, you got things coming at you, people asking for things that you may or may not be able to approve. You got to reach out to supervisors and management to ask what's going on with approval. Like it's so much. So just that walk, it really put me in like a good headspace. So I'm sorry, I just had to call that out and just let y'all know. Take your little 15 minutes, even if you can only do 10 minutes. Do something for yourself throughout the workday, because you going for sure be doing stuff for other people, but make sure that you include yourself in that. Anywho, I'm gonna go on ahead and end out the vlog here, but I'll just give you guys a quick overview what I plan to do for the rest of the day. So one of my customers that I paid for their abatement services, I paid them, I want to say Friday of last week, and they just sent me two emails. They're renting furniture for their temporary home, so they sent me the furniture rental invoices, and they sent me their expenses for like food and emergency contents that they had to purchase for their temporary home. So I acknowledged it, let them know I received it, but in addition to the invoices, I need proof of payment. So I need, copy of the cash check, copy of Zelle payment, like whatever. So I told them to go ahead and send that in, gave them a time frame to allow me to review and all that jazz. And I think I'm going to go ahead and work on their receipts now. They're kind of one of those insurers where I like to just get their stuff done. And not that I don't do that with everyone, but you know how you have some people that are good with like a few days, and then you have other people where it's like, if you don't have something done within like 1.5 business days, they're reaching out talking about what's the update. These are those people. So I want to kind of just work on their stuff and get the payment out as soon as possible so I don't have to hear anything. But yeah, so the rest of the day, I do have a claim where I need to write a partial denial letter, and I've been putting it off for like 2 weeks. I'm still waiting on some additional documentation from the testing vendor. So that is kind of my excuse, but I really can go on ahead and start working on this partial denial letter. And if there's anything else I need to add to it, I can do that like later when I get testing results. So I'm just going to kind of work on some of that stuff because like I was telling you guys the other day, I'm going to be out most of next week, and I want to try to just get like any pertinent items done this week, even if it's like getting some payments or reserves out for review. Even if they don't get looked at before I leave the office on Friday, they can at least be in the queue. And then hopefully by the grace of God, when I come back next week, or when I come back the week after, should I say, they will be reviewed and, the customers will have been paid. So I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I know it was really chatty, and I'm going to put that in the title. Y'all know I can be very long-winded. I just be trying to give you guys like a real overview of what's going on, tell you guys about different situations and stuff, and really paint the picture of what it's like being an adjuster, but also working from home in a 9-to-5 setting. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely go on ahead and give me a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If there's anything in particular that you want to see from me, please put that in the comments as well. I really do use you guys' ideas as inspiration because sometimes I have like creator's block, and especially with everything that's going on this year, I'll be all over the place. So let me know what y'all want to see. If you have any questions, just put that in the chat. I usually get back to my comments within like a couple of days. So I am responsive. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and you have an amazing day.
Future. You mad, they don't salute you. I need a bag, size is super. They turned your bag, it's like I never knew you.